Hi, I'm Andrew, and this is Blaster Breakdown. If you follow the HPA side of this hobby, you might be aware that Sabre Blasters is now manufacturing HPA cores designed by Spectre. This includes the new Sniper core, as well as the original Super, now rebranded as DMR core. To go with this, Sabre has also designed a few 3D printed pieces that make dropping these cores into existing blasters a breeze. Today, I'll show you how I use their Airgull design to build my Super Seagull. The Super Core makes this a closed-bolt, semi-automatic, remote line HPA blaster. The 3D printed parts hold the valve in the grip to act as a trigger, as well as place the Super Core in just the right position. These parts make this a really simple build to do. Before we start though, go ahead and hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Alright, let's have a look inside. Okay, here we are with all the components that I need for this build. These black printed pieces are the ones designed by Sabre. So these ones go in the grip. There's a printed piece that I've just taped to the front of my Super Core here. Now, this mod will work equally well with Super Core and Sniper Core, and almost certainly NAF Core. One difference for this front piece here, kind of donut-shaped piece between the two core types, is the Super Core has a much thicker pusher compared to the Sniper Core. And so there are separate printed pieces for these two designs, one with a bigger hole for Super Core, smaller hole from Sniper Core. So both will be available from Sabre's website, along with the pieces that go in the grip. So I could have used either core for this build. I decided to go with the Super Core. Now, as I say, I've taped this printed piece to the front of the Super Core. And what that does is situate the core in just the right position so that the pusher is aligned with where the receiver will sit, and obviously the barrel at the front. To fit this in, a little bit of grinding was needed for some of this ribbing along here, and quite a bit at the back, where there's a lot of moulding holding things like the catch in place at the back of the original plunger tube. So that's been ground down to make space for the rear of the Super Core, and obviously the same on the other side. Some of this moulding as well needed to go to make space for the airline coming down the back here. Now, with the grip pieces, there's three parts to this. These main parts are held together and sit in the grip like so. This also needed some cutting away to make space for the shape of these grips. And of course, this then replaces the metal base of the grip. So that one's gone. Of course, the same thing on the left side of the shell as well. Quick refresh on the pneumatics. We'll have the airline coming in through the base of the grip. This valve is a MJV03. It's a three-way, normally open valve. When I connect my remote line, air flows in this port, out this port, and around to the back of the Super Core. Super Core is then pressurized, ready to fire a dart. When we press this button, the air coming in is cut off. The air at the back of the Super Core begins venting to atmosphere through this little hole. That's what flips the position of the quick exhaust diaphragm, and that's what dumps the air through the front of the Super Core, firing the dart. So this valve sits really neatly inside this piece, and that then sits in our grip like so. This piece here hinges and will press on this button when we pull the trigger. This one is held together with several screws. I've used M3 hex head screws. I've got three 14mm and one 10mm one. So 1, 2, 3, 4 screws holding this all together. Of course, this top one goes through this hinged piece. Okay, so that's all held together now. Now you can't see inside, but when we move this piece, it's pressing on the button closing off the valve. There's also a couple of holes here on either side, and when I'd measured the right place, I drilled a couple of little holes in each side of the grip for some short screws to go in and hold this in the right position so it doesn't slide up and down. Those holes and screws will be covered by the rubber grip later on. So I'll attach one from this side first. Then connecting my air hose, and when that's in place, you can see how the trigger will activate that valve. The original metal trigger actually has a raised piece at the end here that interfaces with the catch. I didn't want that rubbing on the bottom of the Super Core here, so I ground that away so it's smooth and doesn't protrude. If you're using a replacement trigger, a 3D printed piece, then much easier to get rid of that bit. So putting this rear half together, then I can pop all my original pieces in like so. And then this half of the shell just holds it all together. And that all sits together like so. Okay, that's all held together. Now we can test this now. Connecting our airline, you can see that the pusher is extended, core is pressurized. When I pull the trigger, we'll feel air come out the front, and you'll see the pusher retract. The air is closed off now while I'm holding the trigger. I release the trigger, air flows through, core is pressurized, and you can see the air coming out each time I pull the trigger. One more screw to add on this side. I can pop the rubber grip over the top. And this part is done. Okay, let me show you what I did up the front. Now, the brass receiver, whether it's Super Core, Sniper Core, NAF, has the threaded part at the front where the barrel will attach, and the smooth part facing backwards where the pusher from the core sticks a dart. That sits just here where the original breech piece sits. Doesn't need any cutting. It's just held in firmly with friction as the two halves close over it. So that's easy to do. Here's an optional thing that I did. Now, of course, we don't need the sliding part to prime the blaster any longer, but I did want to keep the Picatinny rail at the bottom. So what I did with this piece is I lined up holes that already existed at the back here, and I drilled a new hole at the front here and inserted these brass heat set threaded parts and lined them up with the Picatinny pieces. By using a longer screw, I can connect the Picatinny rail through the outside shell into this sliding piece so that it's fixed in place securely, 4 screws to either side, and it means that this bit of Picatinny underneath isn't going to move, and I can attach a foregrip. I tried a few different positions. In the end, I didn't need this hole. I used the rear one for the back screw and drilled a little hole at the front when it was lined up for the front heat set. I'll show you what this looks like from the right side first. There we are. So 14mm M3 screws now hold the Picatinny firmly in place and connect the internal slide to the shell. You can see the screws protruding a little. That's fine. The barrel is going to be well inside that. That happens on the left side as well. Gives me a nice firm Picatinny rail at the bottom. Okay, lining this up then, the front of the receiver needs to be in line with this bit of ribbing here. But as I say, it doesn't need any further attachments to hold in place. It's held really securely, just friction fit, due to the original internal dimensions at this part of the shell. So that gets a little bit of a squeeze to hold it together. Okay, that's all held together really neatly now, and this Picatinny is super secure. So I can attach my barrel now, and then this slots together as originally intended. There we go, nice and firm. My top Picatinny rail. There we are, and some accessories. My favourite ergonomic foregrip. And the thumb piece. And there we are, this one's ready to go. My airline connector is ready there. Nice stock rubber grips in place. The trigger's working. The mag release is there. I know that the receiver is in exactly the right space, lined up with the pusher of the core. My foregrip up front. I've got my hybrid brass alloy barrel. So this one's ready to take out on the field. I had the chance to use this at a recent Brisbane area Nerf group game. So let's have a look at some footage from that day.
Oh, lucky. There's Dan. I got hit. Nice one, Johnny. There we are.
Oh, I'm out of air.
Oh no!
I'm out of air.
I nearly landed on my arse then, Dan.
So there you have it, the Super Seagull. Lots of fun to use. Thanks to Sabre for the excellent parts, making this an easy mod to do. Don't forget, you can download those direct from Sabre's website, and the cores themselves can be bought from Sabre or various suppliers worldwide. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.